Well, yesterday, 20 Republicans on the House Judiciary Committee sent a letter to Attorney General Jeff Sessions requesting the appointment of a second special counsel, this one to investigate possible wrongdoing by Hillary Clinton, former FBI Director Jim Comey, and Obama AG Loretta Lynch. John Daniel Davidson is the senior correspondent for The Federalist and has been following this while the rest of us have been mesmerized by staff problems over at the White House. John, thanks a lot for coming on. Tell us, what's the substance of this?
Well, essentially, this stems from former FBI Director James Comey's testimony earlier this year that he was told by Obama's Attorney General Loretta Lynch not to refer to the Clinton email investigation as an investigation, but as a matter.
Right.
And that, of course, he complied with that request, sort of in a misleading way for the American public. But it also stems from Loretta Lynch's meeting with Bill Clinton on the tarmac last summer in Arizona. There's a lot of unanswered questions about that. That, of course, was what prompted James Comey to come out last July and make this declaration that Hillary Clinton's email server was reckless, it was a bad idea, but it wasn't a crime, and therefore, no reasonable prosecutor would ever bring charges against this. He did that because he thought the Department of Justice had lost credibility with the American people because of that meeting with Bill Clinton, and he was right.
What was interesting about that story was Loretta Lynch said she was going to recuse herself from matters pertaining to Hillary Clinton, and there the story kind of ended, and that's where the public knowledge of the details of that stopped. And I don't remember any news organizations really pushing to find out what that meeting was about in the first place. Do you think we will find out? Do you think there will be a special counsel appointed to determine what happened?
Well, I think that we're not going to find out ever unless there is some sort of a special counsel and some kind of an investigation into what happened. Clearly, something shady went on the tarmac. Clearly, this was a strange decision for James Comey to make. Remember, James Comey is not somebody previously in his career who was shy about getting into dodgy obstruction of justice cases. So for him to come out and say, well, Hillary Clinton didn't do anything wrong, no obstruction of justice here, is just kind of an odd thing for him particularly to say. So I don't think that we'll ever get to the bottom of this without some kind of an investigation to clear up all these questions that nobody dug into last year.
Yeah. I mean, remember, this is the guy who sent Martha Stewart to federal prison because she was obviously a danger to the republic, but somehow Hillary Clinton, no problem, don't ask questions. Okay, so the House Judiciary Committee isn't the only group going after the Obama administration. Yesterday, House Intel Committee Chairman Devin Nunes said the Obama administration ordered the unmasking of hundreds of American names that appeared in intelligence reports during and after the 2016 election, a pretty short period. Nunes says the unmasking could have been intended for partisan political purposes. What do we know about this, John? This seems like a big deal. Is it a big deal?
It is, in part because Nunes is saying that a lot of the officials who were asking for these unmaskings, and by the way, unmasking just means that you asked for a U.S. citizen to be identified in an intelligence report. Usually their identities are withheld for privacy reasons. But apparently a lot of these requests had no apparent intelligence value to them at all, and the people requesting them didn't say why they wanted these unmaskings done. Now, we know for sure that former CIA Director Brennan and former Secretary of State and UN Ambassador Susan Rice both requested unmaskings in their roles. But we don't know about these other officials who asked for the unmaskings or why, including the former UN Ambassador Samantha Power, who hasn't come forward with any explanation as to why she should need U.S. citizens to be unmasked. And so there's a real concern about why were so many people asked to be unmasked, and who were the officials that were asking for it?
And these are political figures. I mean, Susan Rice and Samantha Power, foreign policy experts, but they're also, partisan political people. And by the way, our intelligence agencies are not supposed to be spying on American citizens. That's the whole point of redacting the names. So when you uncover the names, it's a big step. Do we know how common that is? Like in a normal administration, are hundreds of Americans' names being unmasked by political appointees in the West Wing? Is that normal?
No, it's not normal, and that's why this is news and is something that more people should be talking about. it's not as Games of Thrones-ish as the palace intrigue at the White House. But no, it's not normal, and it's especially not normal for there to be hundreds of such requests in a relatively short period of time that happens to coincide with a presidential election. And then, of course, all of the requests that came in after the election, but before Trump was sworn in.
Exactly. I mean, look, Anthony Scaramucci may say buffoonish things. He does. He has no real power. You know who has real power? CIA, NSA. They have real power. They can read your email, listen to your calls. They can do whatever they want, and we have to be assured they're not misusing those powers. I think it's a huge deal, but maybe you and I are alone in that. Thanks a lot for joining us tonight.
Thanks.
Even as he's shaking up the White House, President Trump is promising a national crusade against MS-13 and other international criminal gangs. We just visited El Salvador. After the break, we'll discuss the MS-13 threat with an immigrants' rights activist who says this whole thing is just an attack on people from other countries. Stay tuned.